While I wholeheartedly and regularly disagree with the way that the Republican Party in America tries to lump all Muslims together with the worst examples of terrorism coming from ISIS, I do love it when ISIS itself gets butthurt, and I want them to suffer. And so in this video, we're going to take a little bit of schadenfreude from their problems with Twitter. And so they have been claiming and complaining en masse on Twitter, on social media, about how Twitter just isn't being fair to them. And they're saying that as they're waging war on the rest of the world, Twitter is waging war on them. And so they're saying that there is this ruthless campaign against them by Twitter management, including the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey. And they have been bitching about it literally on Twitter, which I think is ironic. So they're saying that all of their accounts are being shut down, which is totally unfair. Of course, they're chopping off heads, and so I'm going to say at worst we're at parity there. They promise to continue their activity on the social media platform, although two of their big forums have been off for several days, offline, inaccessible, which is certainly a good thing since these are used for recruitment and also for planning attacks and that sort of thing. They specifically say, "We will continue to support our state in spite of your arrogance, Jack Dorsey." They're literally talking to Jack Dorsey there, which I think is cute. They say, "Jack and your assistant pigs will help you to suspend our accounts. How dare you?" And then they have this one account called, it's in their language, but it's a bank for accounts that they can use when theirs get banned. And so, look, I think one of the things that's really bothered a lot of Americans is how ISIS, in comparison to Al-Qaeda, has been relatively sophisticated in the way that they've used the tools and inventions of the Western world, including social media sites like Twitter and Reddit and things like that, to try to organize and to recruit and to plan and strategize and all of that. Which I totally get why they do that pragmatically. They are not capable of inventing anything or running anything, a state, let alone a sophisticated social network. And so, of course, they have to leech off of us. I totally get that. But it is, of course, annoying that the developments that we create for noble purposes, Twitter, like making snarky comments about politics, which is what I use it for, or for sharing selfies, that they're taking it and twisting it and using it to commit acts of terror and mass murder and to terrorize entire populations. But of course, I do like the complaining, because I understand, looking from the outside, we see occasional interviews with people who are in ISIS who've escaped it, and occasionally there will be like footage and stuff like that. Their life is hell. A couple of the leaders are totally just doing this for the money, and so they have great lives and live in luxury and all that. But for most people, they go out there knowing what this community is like, knowing what the ideology is, what its goals are, but they join it anyway. And so how amazingly ironic is it that they then enter into a life where all luxury is taken away from them, their rights are taken away, they live in hell and squalor. And even when they can use something like Twitter to try to reach out into greener pastures, to try to convince people to join them in hell, then their account gets banned. So that's really sad. Now look, we can have an argument about to what lengths Twitter should be regulating various forms of speech, and Reddit or whatever social media site. You should understand, and I'm sure that you do, because people who watch this channel are probably mostly not stupid people, that this has very little to do with the First Amendment, because we're talking about a private corporation, not the U.S. government. So if Twitter wants to shut down half of all the accounts in the world, they can do that. People will probably just leave. That's how we regulate those things. But for a group like ISIS and people who are out and out supporters of it, who are trying to organize, trying to use it to commit acts of terror, if their accounts are getting shut down or forums are getting shut down, fuck off. Don't join ISIS. I think it's a pretty simple solution there. Just trying to be reasonable.